Hey there guys, Vans here, and welcome to my Dueling Series Warrior Edition. Throughout this video, you're going to see what type of glyphs, what type of spec, and what type of rotation you want to start throughout the fight. You want to remember just to keep the survivability up, keep the max range going, and never let that warrior touch you with all this cooldowns up. Throughout this video, you're going to be learning all this, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. Alright my fellow hunters, I'm going to post both the warrior and the hunter's main abilities that are going to be used throughout this duel. I'm going to be posting the deadliest and most careful ones that you're going to want to watch out when the warrior pops them. And I'm also going to be posting the hunter's ones that are going to be needed throughout this duel. And you're going to have to repeat the same patterns over and over again just so you survive. First up, Narrow Escape. This is one of the most important and specially needed abilities that you're going to have to get if you want to beat a warrior. The whole purpose of Narrow Escape is to really root him and get that distance you want, because you want to play this completely max range. The only downfall to this is that warriors can now intervene a banner and get out of all routes, so just be wary of that, but strongly recommend this if you want to really keep that gap between you and the warrior. Scatter Shot and Freezing Trap. This is also a very special and unique thing that you want to do during this duel. As a hunter against a warrior, you don't want to use Frost Trap, considering that when you use Frost Trap, you don't even have entrapment anymore, so totally forget about that. That was the whole Kata scenario thing, where you would just Frost Trap and it would root them if you respect a little bit into survival to get that entrapment, but now it's pretty much useless. The whole point of using Freezing Trap is so that you bait the warrior's trinket early in the game, and then when you're taking a lot of damage, just Scatter Trap him, dismiss a new pet. If you're using 4 Spirit Beasts to heal yourself, do it. I'm not using it during this case, I'm only using 1, but I'm especially using that Scatter Trap into a Freezing Trap to just relieve the pressure off me and you know, just restart the fight and get that max distance that you really want between you and the warrior. Alright, the last thing that I want to touch base on is Exhilaration or Aspect of the Dragon Hawk. Now, the difference between these two is that you still get the benefit from Aspect of the Hawk if you're in Aspect of the Dragon Hawk. You just get that 15% less reduction damage, but as of right now, warriors really have just that bursty cleave that can really knock 50% of your health off. So in some duels, if you're a more experienced hunter and you know how to really utilize that max range that I'm talking about, you can go with Aspect of the Dragon Hawk just to relieve most of that damage. But if you're still kind of new to kiting and just really want to relieve that gap between you and the warrior, I strongly recommend Exhilaration, which basically is a little up boost, I guess you could say. It basically heals you for 30% of your life and also instantly heals your pet to full. It's 100% heal on him, so you can choose between the two. I recommend Exhilaration for more of a beginnerish type of duel scenario, and Aspect of the Dragon Hawk for more of an advanced hunter that has a bit of knowledge on kiting and max ranging and really putting that gap between you and that warrior. Alright, one of the first things that you want to watch out when you're facing a warrior on a one-on-one scenario is this deadly one-shot macro. What I'm talking about is the Avatar, the Recklessness, the Deadly Calm, and the On Use. These are getting nerfed in 5.1. Especially Avatar, you won't be able to be invulnerable to movement and pairing effects, so that's a little upside, but as of right now, you will not be able to live through that. You want to instantly deterrence when you see those cooldowns, and then Narrow Escape and root him there and keep him in place. If he does intervene, get that quick Scatter Trap off, which I was talking about earlier, just to really maximize that gap between you and that warrior. So once again, really watch out for that one-shot macro. That's your priority, and you just want to instantly deterrence and mitigate it completely. Alright, up next is Second Wind. It's an ability that warriors have to spec into that will basically heal them for a ridiculous amount of health when they're under 35% health. In most scenarios, I really like to save Stampede along with a Bestial Wrath just to really guarantee that kill and just overkill it, you guys. You want to basically save that 5-minute cooldown that you have for the exact moment that you really need it. Once again, you'll probably only need it once in a duel. If I guess the duel goes beyond that, I really doubt a duel is going to go over 10 minutes. Unless you guys are just prolonging it, but you really want to save Stampede for the right moment, and the right moment is basically when the warrior can heal himself with that second wind when he's under 35% health. So just once again, really utilize that, you guys. Alright, the final thing that I want to go through with warriors is their fear. Most warriors really try to bait your trinket with fear, but as of Mr. Pandaria, you can Bestial Wrath out of anything controlling you. So you can basically Bestial Wrath it, and that's what I strongly recommend, and then instantly get that pressure rolling again, and then get that gap in between you and the warrior to really just maximize that range in between you and him. Alright, let's start off with the duels. As you can see right here, I'm going to be dueling 2 really good warriors. One's Bretonnis, a rank 1, and the other one's Vive, a BlizzCon winner. The basic rotation that you guys want to keep going through when you're starting a duel against the warrior is just you really want to get that burst right away. I like to intimidating and then into a bestial wrath just to really get that momentum. Right after that, I really like to separate myself between myself and the warrior, and the only way he'll really get back onto me is if he leap charges onto me or if he intervenes a banner and then charges me again. The one thing that you guys want to keep in notice when dueling a warrior, if he does use that intervene and you notice it, and if you want to just relieve the pressure off yourself, you want to run to him and then disengage root him and then just basically trap off of it and just relieve some of the pressure. If you have some bandages, go for it. I don't have any myself in these duels, but hey, it's a duel. You can do whatever you want just to survive. Another thing that I want to touch base upon is the amount of mobility warriors have nowadays. Basically, if you're spec'd into double time, you have 2 charges and then one right after, 12 seconds, and then if you use that third one, both will be on cooldown for 20 seconds. So they have a lot of mobility. I really didn't even mention that intervene that they have. Intervene is on a 30-second cooldown. If they have safeguard, it basically takes them out of any route. So most warriors will like to throw a banner down and then intervene it to get out of that narrow escape that I was talking about. So be very wary of that. Alright, let's go over some of the glyphs that you might want to choose before the duel starts. What type of spec? Basically, if you know the playstyle of the current warrior that you're going to duel, you can really vary between what types of glyphs and spec you want to go into. If the warrior you're facing is a very cleavish type of warrior and just that one-shot mindset, I strongly recommend going into exhilaration just so you can really mitigate it with deterrence and then instantly heal yourself and then disengage and really get that big gap between you and the warrior. This gap that I'm always talking about, you guys, is basically how hunters win duels. You want to really just keep that max distance from you and that warrior and always keep Kong shot on him. The only way he'll ever get to you is if he leap charges. Now, this brings me to my other point. If you are really good with your reflexes, I'm currently not using it in this duel, but if you do get that camouflage glyph, it's basically a 3-second or so vanish. If you don't have any bleeds on you, I guess it'll keep going. But it basically puts you out of combat and it basically makes you go stealth. So you can use that throughout the game. If you do see that leap, he will charge you, but if you use that camouflage, you'll be obscured. He'll basically have to wait for the leap again to attack you, and you can pretty much just keep on kiting him from there. Another thing that you want to keep in mind is when you do scatter trap that warrior and he has no trinket and you see some banners lying around, especially that demoralizing one or that mocking one, one does more crit and the other one they take 10% less damage. Knock those out, then get back to the warrior. Alright, I want to talk about the different kind of pets you guys can get. Now, there's one that I like to call the San Diego Zoo, which is basically a variation of just every kind of pet that brings out a different variety of buff. The second one is the San Francisco Zoo, that is just 5 spirit beasts, or 4 even. Basically, what the San Diego Zoo does, it brings you a variety of every single type of buff. It can bring you the haste buff, the king's buff, the attack power buff, and the haste buff. What I really liked about the San Francisco Zoo is that you can really utilize that Spirit Mend when you go for that scatter trap onto a warrior if he doesn't have a trinket. You can basically dismiss and resummon a pet just to keep healing yourself, and you can really do this on every single trap if you want to relieve that pressure and just get back on that kind of an uprise on the health with that Spirit Mend, which is really good. I know you guys are probably used to the Stampede heal that was really overpowered, that could basically heal you to full health, but they did nerf that. And the solo men pet into dismissing and resummoning pets is really effective, especially when that warrior doesn't have trinket. So basically just be really wary of that and just keep your options open. Once again, you either have your San Diego Zoo or your San Francisco Zoo. Alright there, my fellow hunters. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. It is my first time doing this type of dueling guide. I never really did 1v1s before, but I'm trying to incorporate it, see what you guys think, how the flow really goes with it. Please let me know what you think about it. Comment on the video below. I'll read through most of them. Also, tell me if you do like it, what class would you like to see next? What classes are you guys having trouble with? And tell me what you guys do differently against warriors. Maybe I can add something to this video in the near future that you guys have discovered and I haven't. But I definitely like constructive criticism, and it's always a good thing. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and once again, this is Vance, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you guys.